how is it that sometimes we can get along with people instantly and with other people it either takes a long time or it almost never happens? And is there a way to ensure you will be able to get along with anyone you meet through just the words you use? Well, watch this video until the end and you can find out how. And if you're in the people-facing business, then you definitely need to watch this video until the end. If you're new here, then hi, my name's Ash. And if you're returning to my channel, then welcome back. If you're interested in personal development, building your self-confidence, and mastering your communication skills, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the new videos I put out each and every week. In this video, I'll talk about the different learning types and how understanding it can help you communicate more effectively and build rapport more quickly. As a management consultant or a coach, you tend to meet a lot of new clients and a lot of different people on a daily basis. And oftentimes, before going into the meeting, there's a little bit of chit chat or small talk before you can get into the crux of the matter. Now, a lot of people miss a crucial opportunity here into really understanding what the other person's learning type is so that they can build rapport more quickly and more effectively. So by watching this video, hopefully you'll understand what your learning type is and use that as practice to be able to assess other people's types of learning as well. So there are 4 learner types that I'm going to cover in this video. The first one is the visual learner. A 2017 study showed that 65% of the UK's population are visual learner types. This means the majority of the people you come across will understand better through pictures, videos, graphs, and so on. So if you're going to make a presentation and have lots of text on it, that will completely bypass most of these people. And that's why a lot of presentations are very ineffective. If you wanted to communicate more clearly and more precisely, you need to have more visual imagery in there. However, how do you identify whether you are a visual learner or whether the people you're with are a visual learner type? Well, there's a lot of clues left behind, especially in the language these people use. So you need to watch out for things like, for example, I can see that, or look, I see what you're saying, or imagine this, and then they proceed to explain things in a visual manner that paints a picture in your head. So did you catch that? It's the visual words such as look, or see that, see, watch. These kinds of words are going to give you clues that this person is a visual learner. Watch it in your own language. When you talk to people, do you use such words? Then if so, you might be a visual learner. Now, the second type of learner is the auditory learner. The same study in 2017 showed that 30% of the UK's population was auditory learner types. These are the types of people who tend to listen to things once and can remember most of it later on without having to write it down. For example, if you're in a university lecture, these are the types of people who can hear the lecture once and can remember most of the information. And if you're giving a presentation, these people may not necessarily care what you've got on slides. Instead, they'll be intently paying attention to what you're saying so that they can remember the words that you're speaking. So that is the first clue in identifying auditory learner types. Now, another clue, of course, is again in the language they use. Unlike visual learners, the auditory learner types might say things, for example, I hear that, or we're on the same wavelength, or I hear what you're saying, that sounds good. So again, you see, this time they are using sound-related vocabulary to make that connection. So that's another thing to look out for if you're going to identify whether they're a visual or auditory learner. Just watch for that language cue. Now, the next learning type is the kinesthetic learner. The same study found that only about 3% of the UK's population are kinesthetic learners. Now, these people tend to be generally a little bit more complex to figure out. Now, the UK schooling system is not typically geared towards these types of learners. So a typical way to identify whether someone's a kinesthetic learner is you might find them fidgeting or playing with pen during a presentation or meetings, or maybe even bouncing their legs. So you might need to watch out for subtle cues like that to identify if someone is a kinesthetic learner. Now, in social situations, kinesthetic learners display this in a slightly different way. These types of people may be the ones that are kind of touchy. So for example, someone who laughs and grabs your arm or taps you on the shoulder, these kinds of tactile cues will lead you to believe that this person might be a kinesthetic learner type. So watch out for that when you are assessing the people you're with. The fourth learning type is the reading and writing type of people. Now, there's only about 2% of the UK's population that the same study found to be this type of learner. Now, this type of learner is actually quite difficult to identify in social settings. The only way to really see if the people you're with are reading and writing type learners is to kind of spot very, very subtle cues. For example, this might be the person who, if you go to a parking meter, they might have to read things a few times or take a picture of the parking sign just to then find out a little bit later on that they're reading through it to understand what's going on. This type of person might have to read the same thing a few times before being able to act on it because they're processing what's there. Also, if you decide to tell them something, they might have to draw it out themselves or write it out themselves in order to be able to remember what it is or be able to act on it later on. So to be able to identify whether the person you're dealing with is a reading and writing type person in a social situation might be quite difficult. In an office setting though, it's relatively easy because this is the type of person who tends to take a lot of notes, almost write down every single thing that's going on. So now that you know the 4 learning types, let me know in the comment section below which learning type you are. Now, as I said in the beginning, knowing these learning types will help you build rapport with the people you're with. So next time you're with your friends or clients or new people that you haven't met before, try and watch out for those cues that I mentioned earlier for the different types of learners. Once you've identified the cues they're putting down, the best way to build rapport is to mirror that and match what they're saying. So if you're dealing with a visual person, use visual language. If you're dealing with an auditory person, use sound-related language, and so on for the other 2 types as well. This way, you're building a subconscious level of connection with them, and they'll immediately start to like you more. Now, of course, this isn't the only way to build rapport, but it establishes a good starting foundation for you to go and try out immediately, because you can do it with anyone you're with, even if it's with the people you already know. So try it out and let me know how you get on. But if you do want to find out how you can build more rapport a bit more deeply in different ways to do that, then make sure you stick around for my next week's video, which covers that in more detail. If you want to become a better communicator and have more confidence in doing so, then fill out the 5-minute self-reflection assessment that I've got. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the videos that I put out. While you wait, check out these 2 videos because they will help you become better as a person as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.